Hey guys, Fire here, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out MiceGard. This game is currently available in the Xbox store for a price starting at it's $10. The time of recording this, it is on sale, where you can save a little bit of money. It's developed by Game Dynasty of Victory, published by Desert Water Games, and is a Mice Viking style game where you're fighting for honor and you're going around with a kind of unique combat system where you kind of control a group of mice in kind of battle formations, and how those formations work out for you determine your best way to pursue through combat. You're basically doing these kind of short little missions that are actually kind of fun. The unique way the combat works and the way the game just kind of paces itself is just done really well. I will say enemies kind of get a little repetitive in certain areas, but it's still enough to be pretty fun. As you can see here, we can move around our mice. We have the option to form different formations, and then based on what we're doing, we can try to complete different tasks. It's really fun and enjoyable with you really think about how the mechanics work within the game. You basically just have to get certain kind of objectives completed, and based on how you complete out those objectives, you'll end up getting rewards for the systems that you're doing. It's actually a pretty fun and solidly enjoyable game, as there's just a lot to kind of do within the game, and the levels and missions kind of give you a decent bit of diverse content along the way, which really sets for a rather fun and well kind of designed game. I love the controls that the game has kind of going for it, as well as just how the different objectives and things work within the game. It's very tasteful, and the way they create and establish everything is kind of done really well. The things that I kind of wish were a little different is kind of how some of these storied pieces of the game work, but it's nothing that really kind of like takes you out of the sense of how the game works when you're questing in these missions. It's interesting, but it's done in a very tasteful manner. Looks like this mission here, I want to return back to the main menu. I think I loaded into one that's a little bit quirky. There has been a couple issues I've had with the game when you load into certain things, and it doesn't seem to want to progress or pick up things. But let's talk about the hub here a little bit. This is kind of your village that you build out within the game. On this particular run through of the game, it's a little more near the beginning of the game, but it's nothing that's not overly kind of beyond what's within your realm, and it's really fun to kind of establish and grow how your little collective of mice work and fight within each other. It's got a cute little story. There's no narration, sadly, but it's still a really fun and well done system within the game. There is some variety in some of the different things where you get to see where instead of like that traditional normal combat, you get a little bit of a different kind of almost like the tower defense system. So the game does add some interesting ways to fight that change up a little bit of traditional systems within the game. A lot of the fighting in the game is going to take place when you're in those group formations, and that for me is probably the biggest highlight within the game, when you get to be in those group formations. But I did want to kind of highlight a little bit here on how this section works. This game has really easy controls, and what's nice is all the controls, for the most part, when you're at least in the formations, are presented on your screen at all times, so it's nothing that's ever too overly difficult or super challenging while you're playing. It's got a really cute and quaint little theme, and I think it's a solid little game surrounded by mice, Viking, and honor. Overall, for the $10 price point, I think it comes in at a nice, solid bang for your buck. It's going to take you, about an hour-ish or more to kind of do everything in the game as far as like the achievements, but there's still content beyond that to continue to play, and it'll last you a good couple hours for some enjoyable fun. Outside of that, guys, I'd love to hear what you guys think of my review down below in the comments. I always love reading them, responding to them, and answering any questions you might have. Outside of that, thanks for checking out my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.